Archangel Michael says, your person cried all night after seeing what you posted. They are hiding a truth they can no longer bury. They are remembering everything you did for them. Every sacrifice, every silent moment when you waited for them to change. Now they wish they had listened. Your post didn't just call them out, it woke them up. It shook them into a version of themselves they can't ignore anymore. One that aches for redemption. They wish they could rewind the time, not to change your truth, but to stop their lies. They know you saw through them. You always did. Now they want to face what they couldn't before. Because if they keep hiding, they'll never be free. And you were always the one who showed them what freedom felt like. Type Amen to get blessing 3781. They almost messaged you last night. Fingers hovered over the keyboard, heart pounding. But fear got the best of them, again. But this time, it won't win for long. Because your words keep ringing in their head. They're louder than fear now. They keep asking themselves how they let things fall so far. The truth they're hiding isn't just a secret, it's a confession. And that confession is wrapped in love. They've been punishing themselves with silence. But they know silence is no longer acceptable. You deserve clarity, not confusion. Type Amen to get blessing 1040. Comment if you've ever waited for someone to finally be honest with you. They've started writing a letter. Not one they plan to send, but one they have to write. To pour everything out before they finally speak. In that letter, they admitted it all. That they still dream of you. That no one compares. That their biggest mistake was walking away. They didn't walk away because they didn't love you. They walked away because they loved you too much to keep hurting you. And now they realize they hurt you most by leaving. They know they lost your trust. But they hope there's still space to earn your grace. Even if it takes time, they're willing now. Type Amen to get blessing 2770. They see your strength and wonder how you kept going. How you smiled even when you were breaking. That strength humbles them now. They never gave you what you truly needed. But you gave them everything. And that truth burns in their chest like fire. They are preparing themselves. Not for a conversation, but for a transformation. Because what they're about to say will change everything. Their soul is tired of hiding. Their heart is tired of pretending. And their spirit is ready to heal. Type Amen to get blessing 6606. They cried not just because of your post, but because it reminded them of what they lost. The version of you that was soft, trusting, full of light. They took that for granted. They now understand you didn't post out of bitterness. You posted from the wound they left. And that's what haunts them most. Their emotions are overwhelming. Regret, love, guilt, hope, all crashing together. But through it all, your name remains at the center. They're not looking for sympathy. They're looking for release. And your words gave them permission to finally face themselves. Type Amen to get blessing 8321. Comment if you've been through a storm of unspoken truth. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. They've started looking at themselves differently. Seeing the flaws they ignored. And realizing how you love them anyway. That kind of love doesn't come around often. It's rare. And they almost let it disappear forever. They thought time would erase the past. But time only magnified it. Your memory became louder with every passing day. They feel you more now than when you were close. That's the part they didn't expect. That distance would only sharpen your presence. Type Amen to get blessing 4932. They're not afraid of being vulnerable anymore. Because losing you taught them that silence is worse than honesty. Even painful honesty is better than lies. They've had dreams where they tell you everything. Wake up in tears because it wasn't real. But now, they want to make it real. They're coming forward, even if it means falling apart in front of you. Because falling apart might be the only way to rebuild what matters. And you matter more than anything. They're tired of pretending you're just a memory. You're not. You're the one they never let go of. Type Amen to get blessing 2001. They're watching your page now like it's a lifeline. Reading your words. Holding on to your light. Hoping it's not too late. They want to call. To text. To show up. But they're scared. Not of you, but of the truth catching up with them. They know they weren't who they needed to be. But they're becoming that person now. And it all started the moment they read your post. Your pain gave them purpose. Your strength gave them courage. Your honesty gave them the mirror they needed. Type Amen to get blessing 9117. Archangel Michael says this was meant to happen. That message you shared was divine timing. A spark in the night to light the truth. They are no longer the same. Not after last night. Something changed inside them forever. They are preparing to come forward. To tell you what they've hidden for so long. It's time. They just hope you'll feel the sincerity in their voice. Because this is no act. This is the raw, unfiltered truth. Type Amen to get blessing 3271. They've avoided speaking because they didn't want to make things worse. But silence has become unbearable. Your post pushed them to a truth they can no longer ignore. Every word you wrote carried a piece of the love they never deserved, but always wanted. And now, that love is all they think about. It haunts them, heals them, breaks them, and builds them. They see the pain they caused written between your sentences. The kind of pain only love can produce. And they hate that they were the reason behind it. You didn't post for attention. You posted from the ache of being unseen. And now they see you clearer than ever before. Type Amen to get blessing 8888. They scrolled through your pictures, looking for signs of hope. Wondering if there's still space in your world for their truth. And praying they haven't waited too long. Your eyes say everything. Even in photos, they scream what your voice never said. And that silence cuts them deeper than any words. They know now that the damage wasn't just what they did. It was what they failed to do. The times they didn't show up, didn't speak, didn't stay. They feel like a ghost watching you glow in a life they could have shared. And it hurts more than they ever expected. But it's the pain they earned. Type Amen to get blessing 3799. Comment if your heart has ever spoken through silence. They are no longer hiding behind ego. It's fallen. Shattered. Replaced by humility and longing. They don't want to come back empty-handed. They want to bring truth, depth, an apology. Not for closure, but for beginning again. They know they broke something sacred. But they believe it can be mended, if you'll let it. Slowly. Gently. With truth. Everything inside them is ready now. Ready to face you. Ready to admit what's been buried for far too long. Type Amen to get blessing 4560. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. The hardest part of their day is pretending they're fine. Pretending your post didn't make them cry in the dark. Pretending they're not aching for one more chance. They've asked the universe to guide their steps. To help them speak, even if their voice shakes. To help them love you better, if life allows it. You are not forgotten. You are not just a chapter. You are the unfinished story they're still holding on to. And now they're ready to write the rest, with honesty, not illusion. With presence, not distance. With love, not fear. Type Amen to get blessing 6202. They can't promise it will be perfect. But they can promise it will be real. That's more than they've ever offered anyone. You deserve the truth. And they're no longer strong enough to hide it. Not after reading your words and feeling their soul unravel. They thought they could outgrow the connection. But the connection wasn't built on time. It was built on destiny. You were written into their spirit. And they're done pretending that you weren't. It's too big to bury now. Type Amen to get blessing 7071. They used to think they could replace what they had with you. They've tried to numb the feeling, ignore the longing, bury the truth. But nothing works, not after last night. Your words opened a wound they've kept hidden from the world. A wound that never healed because it was always waiting on their confession. Now, the pain is too loud to silence. They've realized that no amount of time or distance has lessened their feelings. In fact, it's only made them clearer, sharper, more sacred. What they feel for you goes beyond logic, it's soul deep. You were their anchor before they even knew what they needed anchoring from. And your message reminded them of that. It wasn't anger you wrote from, it was love that still aches. Type Amen to get blessing 2741. They now see that hiding the truth was never protection, it was destruction. They thought they were keeping peace, but they were only creating more chaos within. And now, it's swallowing them. You called out their silence without using their name. But they felt it. Every sentence cut with precision. And it left them trembling. They stayed up reading your post over and over again. Trying to figure out how to respond. But no reply felt worthy of your strength. Now they're working on themselves, not for appearance, but for alignment. So that when they come back, they're not offering words, but truth in action. Type Amen to get blessing 5834. Comment if your heart has waited in silence for someone else's truth. They've begun to see flashes of memories, your smile, the way you looked at them, the way you always knew when they were lying. Those memories sting now. Because they were real, and they let them slip. They remember how you once said nothing hurts more than being emotionally abandoned. They didn't believe it then. They believe it now. You've become their greatest teacher in absence. And they've learned more from your silence than your presence. That realization haunts them in the quietest hours. But they're not running anymore. Not from you. Not from themselves. Not from truth. Type Amen to get blessing 8125. They know words can't undo the hurt. But maybe they can start to sew the pieces. Carefully. Slowly. With presence. Your post brought light into a dark space they avoided for too long. And that light is forcing them to look in the mirror. To face the truth they buried beneath distraction. They can't change what happened. But they can change what happens next. And that begins with telling you what they've never said. That they were scared of how much you mattered. That your love felt too real. That they pushed it away because they didn't feel worthy. Type Amen to get blessing 3399. They're ready to speak, not from guilt, but from growth. They've been walking a path of reflection since they read what you shared. And now, they can't go back to silence. This isn't about fixing everything overnight. It's about facing what they broke. And offering truth where there once was confusion. Your strength amazes them. They never said that. But it's time they do. They are coming, not just to apologize, but to rebuild. If you'll allow it. If your spirit still whispers their name. Type Amen to get blessing 4611. They've been silent on the outside, but inside they've been screaming your name. The moment they saw your post, their world stopped. Everything they'd buried came rushing back like a tidal wave. Your truth broke something in them that needed to break. A wall, a mask, a lifetime of pretending. And now they stand in the middle of the wreckage, knowing they have to rebuild, with truth. They see clearly now, you never stopped loving them. You were simply forced to protect your heart. And in doing so, you showed them what real strength looks like. They wish they had that same courage. The courage to admit what they feel, what they've hidden, what they've lost. But now, that courage is growing. Type Amen to get blessing 9921. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Your post reminded them of all the times they left you waiting. All the times they said later when you needed them now. All the chances they took for granted. They held back out of fear. And now fear is what they're drowning in. Because the truth they avoided is becoming heavier than the silence they chose. You were always the one who spoke light into their darkness. And now they crave that light again, not just to be near it, but to be worthy of it. This time, they don't want to just feel you. They want to honor you. They read your words and heard every unsaid sentence. You didn't need to name them, they knew. And they cried because your truth exposed theirs. Type Amen to get blessing 1088. Comment if you've ever cried alone hoping someone would finally see your heart. They keep wondering if they should just show up. No message. No warning. Just presence. Because no amount of texting can carry what their heart needs to say. They want to stand before you, not to explain, but to confess. Not to convince, but to reveal. Because you deserve to see their truth with your own eyes. They imagine what it would feel like to hear your voice again. To see your reaction. To feel whatever remains between you, even if it's just closure. But deep down, they don't want closure. They want connection. They want restoration. They want you. Type Amen to get blessing 6466. They were foolish to think you'd wait forever. Foolish to think love like yours comes more than once. Now they're left wondering if your door is still open. They've let others distract them. But none of it mattered. Because their heart always led back to you. You were their peace. Their mirror. Their home. And they traded it all for comfort and ego. Now they want to walk the long road back, no matter how long it takes. Because you're worth every step. Every effort. Every apology. Type Amen to get blessing 5303. They've already started cutting ties with people who kept them away from truth. The energy around them is shifting. All because your post stirred their soul back to life. They know they can't expect you to wait. But they're hoping your heart still feels the pull. That your soul still knows theirs. Your post wasn't just a message, it was a mirror. A divine reflection of what they needed to see. And now that they've seen it, they can't unsee it. They want you to know they're not running anymore. They're walking straight into the truth. Straight into the love they never stopped holding. Type Amen to get blessing 7744. They are holding on to the memory of your voice like a thread that keeps them from falling apart. Last night, that memory wrapped around them tighter than ever. It kept them awake with a longing that shook their chest. Your post didn't just speak, it screamed into the silence they've been living in. It was everything they didn't want to hear but needed to. It was the truth they never had the courage to say themselves. They keep thinking about all the times you begged for honesty. All the moments you gave them a chance to be real. And how they chose comfort over courage, silence over soul. Now they want to rewrite that pattern. They want to speak with nothing held back. Because loving you quietly has only brought them pain. Type Amen to get blessing 8842. They've realized that your strength wasn't just in loving them, it was in how you walked away when they wouldn't meet you halfway. That strength is what they respect the most now. And it's what they fear losing forever. They want to reach for your hand again, but they know it must come with truth. No games. No masks. No delays. They've even started drafting what they plan to say to you. It's messy, vulnerable, and real. But this time, they're not going to delete it. You'll see a version of them you've never seen before. A version born from pain, shaped by your absence, and awakened by your courage. Type Amen to get blessing 6417. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Comment if your silence ever taught someone what words never could. They're beginning to understand that what they feel for you is not obsession, it's soul connection. It's not possession, it's reverence. They've never felt this for anyone else. They ignored it for too long. Tried to love in simpler ways. But nothing ever touched them like you did. Now they want to return, not just physically, but spiritually. They want to stand before you whole, aware, and ready. Because your post wasn't just a message, it was a call. And they are answering it now. Not with empty promises. But with a truth that has lived in them too long to deny. Type Amen to get blessing 7788. They've realized that timing was never the issue. Fear was. Immaturity was. But all of that has changed. They are no longer afraid of how much you mean to them. They're afraid of never getting the chance to show you again. That fear is what's guiding them now. They're willing to risk rejection. Willing to risk tears. Because nothing is more painful than the silence between you. And last night reminded them, your soul is still calling. They just needed to quiet everything else to finally hear it. Type Amen to get blessing 3192. They're not coming with excuses. They're coming with admissions. With accountability. With apology and intention. They never stopped loving you. They only stopped showing it. And that, they now understand, was the deepest wound of all. But if there's even a small part of your heart that still feels this connection, they'll wait. Not in the shadows. But in truth. Ready. Because love like this doesn't come twice. And they are finally ready to fight for it. Type Amen to get blessing 5575. They walk through each day with a weight on their chest that no one else can see. But your words cracked it wide open. Now everything they've buried is spilling out. They thought they could move on, find peace elsewhere. But every path led back to your energy. Even in crowds, they searched for your eyes in every face. Your silence used to frustrate them. Now it terrifies them. Because silence feels like goodbye, and they're not ready for that. They want to tell you everything they never had the strength to admit. That they were lost. That they were scared. That they still believe you were the best part of their life. Type Amen to get blessing 9009. They held back because they thought love had to be strong, cold, in control. But you taught them that real love is soft and brave. That it speaks even when it's scared. You didn't post to cause pain. You posted because you couldn't carry it alone anymore. And your honesty cracked open the door to healing. They want to walk through that door now. Slowly. Gently. With care. Not just to say they're sorry, but to show they've changed. Not to demand your heart, but to honor it. Type Amen to get blessing 4722. Comment if your truth has ever awakened someone's soul. They've looked through old photos, remembering the glow in your eyes. Remembering the way you smiled at them with your whole spirit. It haunts them now, in the most sacred way. They finally understand what you meant when you said you needed more. You weren't asking for perfection. You were asking for presence. They denied you that, and now they carry that truth like a wound. But your post reminded them there's still a window left open. They're standing outside that window now, hoping you'll feel them. Hoping your heart will still recognize their rhythm. Type Amen to get blessing 5550. They aren't expecting things to return to how they were. They're hoping for something better. Something honest. Something lasting. They've practiced the words they'll say over and over again. None of them feel good enough. But they're coming anyway. Because love like this doesn't wait forever. And they've waited too long already. You've waited too long already. They're not showing up to fix you. They're showing up to meet you, where you are, as you are, in full truth. Type Amen to get blessing 6026. They don't want you to wonder anymore. Don't want you to question if they cared. Because the truth is, they always did. They were just too weak to admit it. But your strength woke something in them. And they're not the same person anymore. They're coming in silence, with a heart full of what they never said. And maybe, just maybe, you'll feel it before they even speak. Because this connection was never ordinary. And this moment won't be either. It will be divine. Type Amen to get blessing 8444. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20.